Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to another anti-character guide. Today we're going to do Hwoarang. Usually when I do these guides, I go through specific moves and I have the character, you know, in the practice settings, I'll go on defense and I'll record a load of things and I'll play them back and then show you how to counter them. However, in this guide, because Hwoarang is so damn complicated and he has so many moves, what I'm actually going to do is give you some general tips to start off with, like we always do, and then just give you my perspective on how to play against him. Hwoarang is super complicated, so there's not like super good answers for like every single situation, but a lot of Hwoarangs have a lot of the same flowcharts, which I'm going to show you, the same kind of habits and ways to get in. I think it'll make more sense as we go through the guide, but that's how I'm going to do today's video. And I think that it will help you guys. So starting off with general tips, stay away from him, keep him at a distance. He doesn't have the best range apart from very heavily committing moves like back 3, which is -19. Also, when he runs into you, he hasn't got like the best get in moves, I call them. Usually 99% of the time, a Hwoarang will try and get in by using forward 4 or Hwoarang 3. Sometimes Hwoarangs use Hwoarang 4 as well, but usually they use these moves. One thing to note about these moves is they are extremely linear. Hwoarang 4 does have some tracking, but it's not crazy. You can sidestep left. It's not that crazy. But the thing to note about these moves is that they're very, very steppable. They're like extremely linear. Along with most of Hwoarang's moveset, actually, he's very, very linear. So don't be afraid to sidestep Hwoarang. Always sidestep. My habit is sidestepping to the left, but really you can sidestep either way against Hwoarang. But just always bear that in mind, that he is linear. And if you're really, really under pressure and you don't have your back against the wall, don't be afraid to try stepping him, because most of the time it will actually work. Especially if a Hwoarang is, you know, mindlessly flowcharting away. So yeah, don't be afraid to sidestep to the left. If he does get in, respect him. He has crazy plus frames. If I can get this Hwoarang to block. Even though he blocked the low and the high, he's +8 there. +9. +5. He's got really good frames. This is why a lot of people play Hwoarang. They kind of create their own kind of flow charts and whatever, because he really is just a frame machine. Don't whiff against Hwoarang because of back 3. It is super good range. It hits all the way from back here. But as you see, it's -19. So every time a Hwoarang throws out a back 3 mindlessly, you must launch him. Don't let him get away with back 3. It's -19. You have no excuse not to be launching that. You should be launching that. And the last general tip before we get into the actual moves is he has lots and lots of highs. So you need to recognize these, and we'll go through some of them. You need to recognize some of the highs, and you need to duck them. Wait, what's this? There we go. Just a couple of highs, for example, but you need to recognize these highs and duck them. Otherwise, you see, +4, you should be ducking that. Right. So, to start off with, moves. We already covered how he gets in, right? Hwoarang 3, forward 4. Sometimes Hwoarang 4 as well. So watch out for them. You want to step these. Bearing in mind with this whole guide, I'm not really going to talk about which moves you can step because he's super linear anyway. You can just step him basically anytime you want to, unless he's doing something that is homing. And he does have some new homing options as well. There we go. I'm pretty sure that move is new. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I don't remember seeing this in Tekken 7. And I did play Hwoarang a little bit in Tekken 7. So, moving on. When he's in, I'm going to give you some flowcharts, some moves, some things to be aware of in right foot forward and flamingo. I'm going to try my best. It is complicated. I'm going to try my best to simplify it and just give you my kind of counter to Hwoarang whenever I play against him, because I actually don't find it that difficult going against most Hwoarangs that I play against, partly because there aren't that many in Tekken 8, and also partly because most Hwoarangs do pretty much the same thing. So when he's in, he's got you in close, right? Down forward 1-3. A lot of Hwoarangs throw this out. If they do nothing here, you can actually launch him because he's locked in stance. He's locked in left flamingo, right? You see he takes a second before he puts his foot down on the floor. You can actually just launch him in this stance. It says -2, but you can just launch him before he can actually block again. But obviously, if he's in this stance, he can do a 13 frame move, which gives him +5 on block. It's a high. Not that that really matters. You shouldn't even be thinking about whether to duck this or not. But he has a high there, which is 13 frames, or he has a power crash right back 3, which is -12. So just something to bear in mind. If a Hwoarang keeps doing this and then doing nothing, try and just launch them. If you've got safe down forward 2 that's -7 on block, try launching them, man. You don't lose anything from trying to do that. So moving on, one of the most common strings a lot of beginner Hwoarangs and lower rank Hwoarangs use is 1-1-3-3. As soon as you see the 2 punches, duck and block the low, wait for the high, and then launch. There's no move that comes after 1-1 apart from 3-3. You must duck that and launch it. Down forward 3-4. A lot of Hwoarangs in beginners and intermediate ranks also start the round with this. Partly because they can do this. Sometimes they can cancel it, right? Because you can actually cancel out of down forward 3 into left flamingo, right? But a lot of Hwoarangs actually just do the string. It is -12. You have to be punishing that. We talked about Hwoarang 4. It is a high. If a lot of Hwoarangs like trying to get in with this move, because it does have really good range and it's plus frames afterwards, then you must try and duck this and punish it, or sidestep it if you want. Up forward 2. I think this is a new move, right? +5 mid. Basically, just don't press. It's his turn. It also forces crouch. It's a super good move. If a Hwoarang does this, and it's quite fast as well for a mid plus on block move. Basically, the whole thing with this move is just don't press. It's his turn. Beware of back 1. Back 1 is also still -14. So if a Hwoarang does some kind of flowchart and then goes into back 1 to panic out because they're minus, right, and they still want to press, you must punish him for this. It's -14. -14 is not nothing. It's quite a lot. So definitely get your damage in if a Hwoarang is abusing back 1. And also, the thing is with back 1, even if you eat the back 1, it's -1 for him. So it's still your turn afterwards. So don't be afraid to, take your turn back. Try jab checking or down forward 1 afterwards. Or, if you've got a 12 frame 4, then use that as well. But back 1 is, it's a really good move for Hwoarang, but it's still -14 on block. Down 4-4. Jails now. Super important to know this. That down 4-4 actually jails now. So it used to be the case that in Tekken 7, if you get hit by the low, you could still duck the high. Well, in Tekken 8, you cannot. So when you get hit by the first down 4, don't try and duck because it will just launch you. Basically. Just be aware of that. That is a new thing. It does jail now in Tekken 8. So don't try and duck after the low. Right, now moving on. Down 3-4. This is where things get a bit complicated. I'm going to have him block. So, you see it's +8 here on block. I'm going to go through the options he has out of down 3-4 and then tell you what to do. So, down 3-4, he has a low sweep, which I'm sure you've seen and been hit by. The low sweep, right? He also has a mid power crush, which is -12. You must punish this. You must punish it. He also has a mid launcher that's safe at -9. He also has forward 3, which is a homing mid, which is -10. You must punish this. You must punish this. Every time Hwoarang is minus, you kind of need to know about it, right? I don't have all the answers in this guide, but I can give you the information that I already know. Also, he has 4 out of down 3-4, which is a mid and knocks down. This move is very good for Hwoarang because he gets Oki. See, it says plus 21. Already back up, right? Already back up in their face. And then the last thing is forward 3. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen this a million times as well. They're all highs. Even the extension out of that is a high. Also with this, you can still do back 3 for the mid launch if you try and duck. Also, if it's on counter hit, he gets a full counter hit confirmable launch. So beware of that as well. But they are all high, and you can also do the back 3 for a mid launcher that is safe. So basically, with that being said, you never want to be in the position of having to eat this mix, right? Even on block, it's plus 8 for him, so he's in a really, really good position. Basically, a lot of Hwoarangs just play down 3-4. That's all they play, is just go for down 3-4 along with, you know, a couple of other moves like backlash. So if you see down 3-4 coming, obviously block the low, wait for the high, and then punish. It is difficult to punish because also he has a power crush afterwards. If you try and launch this and he does the power crush will go through the launch. So a safer option is to do anything lower than 12 frames, I would say. I'm not actually 100% sure, but I do know that a while standing 4 will beat the power crush before the power crush actually activates. You will beat him to activating his power crush if you do while standing 4. So look for patterns in your opponent. Do they like to do the power crush out of Flamingo, or do they like to do this mix up or this mix up, right? If they don't like to do the power crush, it's safer to launch them, right? Also, if you do try the launch and he does the power crush and the power crush beats the launch, it's not the end of the world. It is still his turn, but you haven't got launched, right? So I generally do try and just duck down 3-4 and then launch. So moving on, forward 4 on block, plus 9. So don't press from here. Also, it's the same situation as down 3-4. He has the sweeps. He has the mid launcher. He has everything else that we talked about in down 3-4. So beware of that as well. Bearing in mind, through all of this, you can still step him either way. I like to step to the left. If Hwoarangs don't use forward 3, this homing, then try and step him a lot because it beats a lot of his options. Okay, so moving on. This new string 4-4-4-4. You can see here, if you haven't labbed this, firstly, they're all high. A lot of beginner Hwoarangs in Tekken 8 love to spam this move because, as you see, it's neutral on block, right? And the startup is 11 frames, so a lot of Hwoarangs just do this over and over again. You must duck all these and launch. You have to duck them. Moving on, right foot forward. Now we're getting into some tricky territory. First off, he can do down 3-4. It's basically the same thing as normal down 3-4. It's just a different animation. He can do the same things as he did with the normal down 3-4. He can do everything else. So yeah, beware of that. You can still go into down 3-4 from right foot forward. And he still has situational things there as well. So do be careful of that. Right, now moving on, backlash. One of his most important attacks. The thing about backlash is it's plus 4 or plus 5 on block. I mean, that just depends on distance, but you get the idea. He's plus, basically. It is a high. One thing that I always tend to look for is if a Hwoarang just does this in the neutral, if he just switches stances, he's probably going to try and do backlash. So get ready to duck and punish. It is hard to whiff punish, but you can do it. Try and train yourself if you need to. Lab it, like me in the lab right now. Try and do this yourself. I think it does help a little bit. I've never actually labbed this and like practiced. I've just played against a lot of Hwoarangs from Tekken 7 who love to use backlash. In Tekken 8, this move has actually been nerfed quite a bit because all he gets is 48 damage guaranteed, right? I don't know if he gets... I don't know if he actually gets anything. Oh, he gets 54, my bad. Okay, so he does get quite a bit. But still, try and look for Hwoarang switching stance. They'll probably try backlash, especially if they're just sort of standing around waiting for you to run in. Boom, they hit you with backlash. If you block backlash, do not press. Oh, also, it is a power crush. I should have mentioned that. It is a power crush. So you have to respect Hwoarang when he's in this stance just because of that. Try and duck punish it, because a lot of the time when Hwoarang is in this position, they like to do backlash. Right, moving on. From right foot forward, he also has 3-4. This is another very telegraphed move that a lot of Hwoarangs like to do, because it leaves them plus 10 in stance in right flamingo. And then from right flamingo, he can do everything else that he likes to do. Try and duck the high, try and see when a Hwoarang likes to do this. They can cancel it by holding forward. Just try and see that the high is coming and duck it. That's really the best advice I can give for you. Again, you can just sidestep these things if you want. They are very linear. Right now, from right flamingo, same situation as down 3-4. From right flamingo, he can do all of the things he could do from down 3-4 after down 3-4, right? You can still go do all of this stuff. You can do the mid launcher, the save. You can do forward 3, which is the homing mid, which is minus 10. Remember, you need to punish this. So right flamingo, just remember that it's the same situation as if you get hit by down 3-4. And also, it's the same as if somebody does forward 4, right? And it's plus 9. You're still in the same situation. If they just hold forward, then they're in right flamingo. They're still plus 9. So now, with that being said, we're going to move on to some flowcharts. So one flowchart a lot of Hwoarangs love is 3-2-1. 3-2, first off, is 10 frames startup, leaves them at plus 3. When they're in flamingo, they can do a flamingo jab, which is 13 frames. So obviously, that's a frame trap, right? And this is a special type of jab, right? Because it comes out flamingo. It's 13 frames, as I said, but it's plus 5 on block. Now from here, a lot of Hwoarangs like to do forward 1+2. A lot of Hwoarangs like to do forward 1+2, a mid counter hit launcher, right? So they like to do this flowchart, and also it is safe as well. That's a flowchart to be aware of. So moving on, 1-2-3 and 1-2-4 is basically the same situation as 3-2-1, right? Which we just talked about. You can do... So one important thing to note about Hwoarang is whichever flamingo stance he's in, he can do like the same jab, which is plus 5 on block, right? Whichever side he's facing, whichever flamingo is in. And from here, he can do obviously the 1+2 from 1-2-3, which is because it's the same side, right? It's the thing we just talked about, as the 3-2-1 forward 1+2. But for 1-2-4, see his right foot forward now. So what he has now is he has back 3, which is 13 frames, and it's also a counter hit launcher. So you need to be aware of that. It is a high. It is a high. So if you think Hwoarang's going to throw this out, because a lot of Hwoarangs like to flowchart like this, remember, try and duck it. Although obviously you can't just get hit by anything else, right? So do be aware of that. But if they resort to flowcharting like this, you can try ducking this. So if you see 1-2-3, 1, get ready for the mid. If you see 1-2-4, 2, get ready for the high. Okay, I know it's complicated, but this is kind of the only advice I can give you for that one. Moving on, 3-3-2. This is a new string that he has. I just wanted to show you guys this because it's high, mid, mid. Obviously very, very linear. It is minus 11 on block, so do punish that. Don't let him get away with this knowledge check. You can also do 3-3-3, which is minus 14. So you must punish that as well. You can also do 3-3-4. So this is another situation where you have to be ready for that high. Because if that high hits you, he's +8 and he can get all of his shenanigans going again. Because this is, again, the same situation as down 3-4, like we said in the beginning of the video. So 3-3-3, -14. 3-3-2, -11. And 3-3-4, +8. Right? Okay. Right, moving on. 4-4-3, -14. It's a very telegraphed move. Although you can't see because it's above the bar at the top, it is actually, the last hit is a mid. Oh, I'm not doing the right move. 4-4-3. The last hit is a mid, and it's -14. You must punish this. A lot of Hwoarangs love to do this, especially in beginner and intermediate ranks. So you must punish this. They can just do 4-4 hold forward, but they're -1. Right? And they're in Flamingo. Again, from here, even though they're -1, they can just do the Power Crush, right? So watch for that as well. Again, Power Crush is -12, so you must punish this as well. Okay. This basically sums up the guide I have for you guys. I know that it's not the kind of guide that I usually do. That is really just because Hwoarang has so many different moves, and if I went through all of the different moves, I don't think it would be easy information for you guys to actually apply to your game plan against Hwoarang. If I went through all the different moves, it would just be too much information, and I don't think you'd be able to memorize everything. At least for me, I can't do that. I just, with Hwoarang in particular, I have to kind of just think, right, he's really linear. I'm going to sidestep most stuff. Going to keep him away. When he wants to get in, I'm going to sidestep left most of his stuff. Or if he tries to get in... Oh, also about this move, which is really important. It is -7. So don't be afraid to press. It's your turn after that. But yeah, as I was saying, that's my game plan. Just sidestep him. If he's up close, try and sidestep, or just watch for the highs. I like to play a lot of ducking. If you've seen me stream, you know that I love to duck Hwoarang, which is sometimes not a good idea, but I like looking for opportunities where I can duck and punish. So I play from out here. Watch for back 3. If back 3 comes, you have to launch. Watch for backlash. This move is really, really important. You watch for this. Duck, punish. Watch for back 3-4. You must duck and launch that, or beware of the Power Crush, right, that he has. But that's generally how I play against Hwoarang. Lots of highs, recognize the highs and duck. Step to the left. But if he does get in, you have to respect him. You just have to block. You just have to stand block and then wait. If you know he's gonna do the down 3-4, if you see it coming, duck and punish. If you see him do this, beware backlash might be coming. Also, you don't have to like preemptively duck this move. You can react to it. It's 27 frames, right? So you can just react, quickly duck, like, or flash duck, you know, and launch him. So yeah, that's going to wrap up the guide. I hope you guys found this useful. I know it wasn't like the type of guide that I usually do, but still, I hope it's going to help you guys, because I know that a lot of you guys struggle against Hwoarang. So I hope this guide helps. If you liked the video, leave a like, and if you're new here and you want to find your way back, hit the subscribe button down below. Hope you guys found this useful. Take care, and I will see you guys in the next one.